Introducing broadcaster, former MuchMusic VJ, and longtime host of Citytv's Electric Circus, Monika Deol.
Wow. Wow. So, don't let the Electric Circus mislead you, because I was raised on a grain and dairy farm in Beausejour, Manitoba. And in Beausejour and Winnipeg, we rocked. Okay? It was rock and roll. And around the late 60s, early 70s, is when my mom and dad brought me, a Sikh Punjabi girl from India, to Canada, because this is the greatest country in the world. And I know that because we chose it. So I am a very proud Canadian and very honored to be here taking part in Canada's Walk of Fame. Let me just say that. And around the late 60s and early 70s is when God said, "Let there be light." House. The music of Lighthouse is a feeling. It's a sense of joy and freedom. It soars, and putting it into words just kind of brings it down to earth. In the early 70s, Canada was riding a wave of youth and optimism and immigration. It was an era of idealism and reinvention, and that spirit was embodied by Lighthouse. As a live act, they were magnificent. With 13 members on stage, including that famous horn section that we just heard tonight, Lighthouse left audiences like us spellbound. They played rock, jazz, classical, and every single combination in between. And famously, they were the only band that was asked to play twice at the Isle of Wight Festival. That lineup included The Doors, Miles Davis, Joni Mitchell, and Chicago. And Lighthouse played twice. They toured Canada for most of the 70s, playing to thousands of joyful Canucks from coast to coast. And maybe it's too much to say that one song or one sound can really represent a generation. But in dark times, when clouds are gathering, right now in Canada, we sure could use a band like Lighthouse to show us the way. Let's take a look at the highlights of their amazing career, narrated by Lighthouse fan and broadcasting legend, John Donovan.
One fine morning, girl, I wake up.
Lighthouse's brand of freewheeling jazz rock fusion took Canada by storm following their debut in May 1969 at Toronto's Rock Pond.
That as long as you love me, girl, we'll fly.
Touring extensively across Canada, the U.S., Europe, and Asia, Lighthouse was recognized as one of the best performing acts of their time. Lighthouse has received multiple awards and honors, and their impressive catalog of 23 albums, several reaching diamond, platinum, and gold status, have produced monster hits such as Hats Off to the Stranger, Pretty Lady, Take It Slow Out in the Country, One Fine Morning, and Sunny Day.
Ain't nothing better in the world, you know, than lying in the sun with your radio. All right. Thank you, God bless. Thank you all. Thank you.
Come on, step into the light. Lighthouse toured for 265 days a year. You went across the country, you went around the world, across the state lines. And I'm wondering, once you left this country, did you feel as though you were representing Canadians in their music?
Yes, we did. When we first started touring, we were signed to an American record company, so of course they wanted us to play all over the United States. And they sent us to Japan, they sent us to Europe. And when Lighthouse started, we were in the middle of the Vietnam War. And Canada was more than just another country next door to the United States, because the United States was drafting all the young people who were of age to be in the Army. And so the Canadian government basically started letting the draft dodgers into Canada. And so when we started playing in the United States, we were then a country of immigrants and proud of it. I won't get political. Anyway, and so what happened was that when we started playing across the United States, everywhere we would go, there would be some people who would start waving Canadian flags and make a big deal of the fact that Canada, we were Canadians. So although I'm sure we were all proud Canadians when we started, we became known as the Canada's band. And we were all very, very, very proud of it.
Wonderful. And finally, for all three of you, what does it feel to be like on this stage tonight being saluted, this band?
For me, it's amazing to be, because a lot of times we don't get to see each other. But the band's because we're playing and they're playing somewhere else. But to have all these people here together is really amazing.
Absolutely. I second that, Ralph. And it is a great honor and pleasure for us to have this honor bestowed on the band, as all the other inductees would also agree to. And all we can say is thank you all for being so supportive of Canadian music. Keep it going.
I just have to give an important tribute to Skip Prokop, who passed on. We can't really talk about Lighthouse without talking about Skip. So when I met Bob McBride and those guys. But when I first met Skip, we were both in New York. He was playing with a band called the Paupers, and I had an off-Broadway show running. And we ran into each other, and the next morning, we ended up sitting next to each other on an Air Canada flight back to Toronto. And Skip said to me he had an idea for a band that could transcend the limitations of normal rock bands, because it would have all the forces of a film orchestra who could play with horn parts, trombone parts, French horn parts, string parts. And he said he needed a partner to do that.
And he was talking to you.
He was talking to me.
There you go.
And so,
you? Oh.
And then
Yeah.
we brought up Ralph.
I wouldn't
from
known.
Kalamazoo. Ralph you were in Kalamazoo in Detroit.
Yeah.
And Skip had played with you, and he said, this guy's terrific. He's a rock and roll musician.
Yeah, he
and,
said, I like your guitar playing. Come on out to Toronto.
and then Ralph came to Toronto. And since then, we've had 70 members in the band, and many of them are here with us today. You know, from Grant Fullerton, one of the original members. Russ Little, the original trombone player in the band, who's been in the band 56 years.
How about a hand for Canada's band, ladies and gentlemen? Lighthouse.
As my daughter told me, when I told her we were getting a walk of shame, she said, well, it's about time.
I think that this is a great time to bring out the rest of the band from Lighthouse. Yes! Let's get everybody out here from backstage. Come on, guys.
Sunny days. Oh, sunny, sunny, sunny days. Ain't nothing better in the world, you know, than lying in the sun with your radio. Sunny days. Oh, sunny, sunny, sunny days. Ain't nothing better in the world, you know, than lying in the sun with your radio.
Lighthouse, ladies and gentlemen. Lighthouse. All those years with you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So many members from the band have gone on to do such great things. Our congratulations go to them.